thank you.
Thank you.
Now move to item 13, rating of whenua Māori, and I will ask Councillor Dalton to move. Councillor Filipaina, are you happy to second?
Yes, and my apologies about my voice earlier. Sorry, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Andrew, do you want to present this one as well?
Sorry?
And do you want to present with Beth? Is Beth?
Yes, Beth is online.
Okay.
These amendments are to allow us to meet our legal obligations under amendments that have been made to the Local Government Act that require us to make some amendments to our rating policy or to our rates remission and postponement policy and our Māori land rates remission and postponement policy to ensure that they reflect the principles of Te Ture Whenua Act 1993. We've got a couple of clarifying amendments in there as well, and a minor change to facilitate remission of Maori land under development. We're legally obliged to do this now under the Act. We've put in our own remission policy to facilitate that process administratively. We don't think this will cost us more than maximum of $10,000 a year.
Right, thank you. Beth, anything to add?
Nothing further to add.
Right. Any questions for Andrew or Beth? Ren? Sorry, Member Blair?
Yeah, thank you for the great work on this. Just one of the issues I have with it is that there's iwi lands under general title that have papakainga housing developments. And so the people that are under a licensed occupier are still charged under a general title rating or valuation of the land, but they can't sell to the general public. So this means that their rates are significantly higher as the land is held under general title. So this policy doesn't go far enough to accommodate for those papakainga housing developments. As we know, iwi are trying to alleviate the housing crisis, so they are building on either their general lands or their Māori title land, and it's quite complicated tātou mā, councillors. It's quite a complicated process. But if they are building housing developments for their people on their general title lands, then their people are getting charged at a general title land valuation or a general rates, which I believe is unfair. So are we able to get clarification on whether the policy can accommodate charging the iwi members that are on those lands a different rate, which reflects the market that they are able to sell? So effectively, an iwi member can only sell to an iwi member. They cannot sell to the general public when they are occupying their own land, but they are getting charged a fee which I think is above and beyond what reflects the market that they're able to sell to.
So our Māori land rates remission and postponement policy has the provision for the council to remit some of the rates if it assesses that the value of the land doesn't reflect the restrictions on its use and sale as a result of the particular legal form of the ownership. This was adopted in relation to some coastal land in the far north when the policy was put in place in 2016. However, it doesn't apply to general land owned by iwi, as you've noted. So the policy can't apply that consideration to land of that nature at present.
Can I just make a further inquiry?
Sure, because I'm just trying to figure out whether we can put this amendment in or not. So go on.
Yeah, I understand that there are restrictions that currently exist under general title, even though they're owned by the iwi, and can only be sold to the iwi members. So how do we find a solution that is not as so restrictive for those iwi members that are paying general title, general rates on their lands, which cannot be sold to the public. I mean, I think this is a big issue if we're trying to solve a housing crisis and asking iwi to develop their lands for housing.
We would have to do some analysis to establish the dimensions of that issue in order to be able to provide you with an answer to that question. We have to go and do some further work. There were some questions like this given to us by submitters on the proposal that went out to consultation, even though this wasn't one of the issues that was covered by the amendments we proposed. We had a number of questions come in, and Beth, what were we proposing to do in response to those in the report?
So we're exploring how we can apply the current remission to adjust valuations a bit more widely in response to some of those submissions. In terms of the issue that you've raised, which is in relation to general land, at the moment, as you note, it's excluded under the policy. So we would need to look at making an amendment to that policy. And I can see that that there's been proposed a direction to officers to do that work. And if that case, we can go ahead and explore that issue. But we'd need to work with you, with Māori on that, because it is quite a change from the definition that we have currently. Our current definition is related to Māori freehold land and a few categories of land that have been transferred into general title but was previously Māori freehold land and has remained in continuous Māori ownership. Expanding it beyond that could significantly change the eligibility, so it's something that we need to explore and consider properly.
So that's what this amendment is asking you to do. So with the agreement of the mover and the seconder, I think this amendment could be easily by way of addition. Councillor Dalton, you happy with that?
Yes.
Councillor Filipaina?
I'm assuming, I'm assuming, Chair, there's obviously from Beth and Andrew, there's no issue about that being included in the substantive.
They have to do the work, yes, so they're happy with that. Yeah. Andrew?
I just wanted to check with Beth that because I drafted this, not Beth, and I just wanted to check with Beth that she was comfortable that the resolution allowed us to encompass the scope of matters that will be relevant.
You read the...
Yes.
The answer is yes. All right.
Yep.
I have no further questions. Do I have any comments? I will put it to the vote then.
There is a question. There is a question, Desley.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Councillor.
That's all right.
Councillor Sayers.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if I'm able to direct this through you, Madam Chair, to Blair, but I guess to support this is just a couple of questions I have. One is in terms of, obviously we haven't been totally socialised with this, Blair. So is the sale price that a member can sell to another member, is that at market value, right, or is it at a discounted value compared to the general public? That's question number one, just to try and help wrap my head around it. And I guess the other one is, rates are there to support people and housing, providing services to them. So why would the rates for these homeowners be, would it be the same call on council services or less or more? Am I able to get some guidance on that so I can support it?
These are some of the matters that we would explore in our advice to assist the councillors in making a decision once they had received that.
If I can respond to Councillor Sayers, the land is not at market value, and generally when it's sold, and it's only sold to members of that tribe. So effectively, you only have a market of around 1,000 members to actually, or a couple of thousand members to sell your license to occupy to. So Whereas in a general market, you have 500,000 people to be able to sell your house or your license to occupy. The iwi can only sell to a very defined market, and so the sale of that is often not at market value. I do agree that services to the property should be paid for under rates, but it's the land valuation part that I have a disagreement with because of the small market that you're able to sell to.
I think these are all the questions, as Andrew quite rightly alluded to, that need to come back with a proper full report to finance and also governing body, yeah, or finance and performance. All right, Councillor Sayers.
Sorry,
Thank
my
you.
mic's off. If I could make a comment, Madam Chair.
Yes, you can.
Thank you very much. Look, I really appreciate the answers from the officers, but particularly from the member of the Independent Maori Statutory Board. It's most helpful, and I will be voting in favour. So, thank you for that directness.
Thank you, and thank you, Member Blair. Look, I have no names in the comment bar, so I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour say aye.
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 Carried. Thank you. We have no items of extraordinary business, and it's my very real pleasure to close the meeting at 8:20. We'll have a 2-minute break because we need to change the webcast. Sorry, we have to have a 10-minute